Coming up on today's show.
So when you are unpacking, you have this with you. If something goes wrong or you're looking for a phone number or you need a reference, it's right there and easy to access.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about, the unpacking. We've kind of gotten through the boxes and stuff.
But when you're pulling out decor things, and they're next to something else that's more critical, it's sort of hard to figure out where to set them.
Getting organized for a move, both packing and unpacking, and this is part 2 today on Keeping You Organized. Hello and welcome back to Keeping You Organized. If you joined us last time, which was part 1 of our Getting Organized for a Move, we spent the whole last episode talking about the packing like a pro, packing with purpose, I guess. And so now we're going to bring back Veronica Bishop from Organizers Northwest. And Veronica, welcome back. We survived the pack, right? That yes. Rhymes. Welcome back. We survived the pack. Okay. Well, now we're getting ready. We've got the boxes loaded on the truck and they're heading over to the new place. And your company, Organizers Northwest, really works with a lot of people on moves. So we're going to tap into your experience here for what we do when we get to the new house now or the new apartment or wherever you're moving. And how do we unpack with ease, I guess? What's the first step?
Well, wear good shoes. That's my first tip.
Okay, that's a great tip.
When we do unpacking jobs, they're usually 8-hour stretches. And you're exhausted by the end of the day. So being prepared, physically is really big. Wearing the right shoes, and drinking lots of water and having food nearby. I know it sounds kind of silly, but we have to tell our clients to remember to drink water. Because you just get so overwhelmed and, there's a lot going on. There's movers running around and you're tearing into boxes and people forget. So that's my number one thing.
Well, I know too, if you can't afford a mover and you kind of have a bunch of friends doing it, the best way to do it is promise food, and that usually gets them there. So,
yeah, pizza's the usual.
Well, now, do you stand at the door while the movers or the friends start bringing the boxes and kind of act like a traffic cop, or is that someone's job to kind of really, manage the move-in of the boxes?
Well, on moves where I've project managed the move, usually that means I've also done the packing for my client. So I will stand in the truck or near the truck and really direct them where to go. And, whether it's your friends or movers, treating them with food and just being really courteous and respectful is a great way, with movers, learning their names, because there's probably 3 or 4 guys, and just helping them to know where to put things is really helpful for them. And it makes a big difference to you later, because if you have to move a box yourself from one room to another and it's, you don't have a dolly, it's challenging. So really, and again, being prepared ahead of time so that, when you see that box coming off the truck, you can tell them exactly where to put it. We recommend colored tape on the boxes, so that you can say whether that's the colored tape by floor or by room, then they know where to take it if you wander off.
Yeah. It reminds me of when we moved from our previous house. We actually only hired the movers to move the heavy and big stuff. And then we had our friends help us move the boxes. And I don't know if there's a better thing to move the big stuff in first and then the boxes. I mean, obviously the movers move when they want to, and you can do it anytime you want. But is there an advantage to having like all the bigger pieces in first before you move the boxes or not?
I think in an ideal world that would be great, but they don't always do it that way. If you hire movers, they'll just start putting things in the truck. Yeah. So whatever isn't, so you want to definitely front load the things that you want to come off first. And I think they try to do that. But yeah, larger furniture items are great to have first. And the kitchen items are great because then you can get started right away.
Yeah, and for those that didn't get a chance to watch or listen to our first podcast, we talked about kind of like that suitcase that you bring that has the essentials that you don't want to get lost in a box that you might need right away, like the coffee maker and maybe a couple of changes of clothes. So that's always nice. And that's something you probably carry in your personal car, right? Not in the moving truck.
Yeah, I would keep the suitcase in your car, coffee maker, any super fragile things that you're nervous about. Yeah, throw them in the car. That's a good way. even if you do trust the movers, it's more about your own peace of mind, just having that stuff with you.
All right, let's say we've got the boxes in now. Just start randomly opening them, or is there a process or a procedure for what gets unloaded and or not unloaded, but unpacked first? And what's going to make it with ease, I guess?
Well, when you're unpacking, typically the kitchen is the number one thing that you want to get to right away. Presuming that you have your suitcase with your, enough clothes for the weekend, that means that your bedroom and clothing is not actually that critical. You really want to get the kitchen unpacked. That's the way to start to feel like you're living in your own house.
Mm-hmm.
And a kitchen takes a full, almost like I'd say half a day to unpack with 2 people or 3 people, or the full day if you want to just really do it properly. So, I think giving yourself permission to take your time and not feel like you're rushing yourself is really good. And if you start with the kitchen, then you can kind of start your life in that house and take your time. You're not so drinking out of paper cups,
Right.
for days. So that's where I would start.
Yeah, and we're assuming that you've gotten into a home that it's already clean, so you don't have to focus on re-cleaning it, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't. And the movers will often put down some nice, coverings on the floor to keep it clean. And we actually have booties that we wear, when we go to people's homes to unpack. So you can get a cheapo bag of booties and pass them out. And then, the ones realtors make you wear when you check out a house. That's a good way to keep it clean. And yeah, I think just going from room to room based on importance is really helpful. Instead of getting overwhelmed, just pick an area and focus on staying there. And even if you find something in the box that goes in a different place, you can have a box that says go elsewhere,
Right.
So that you're not sort of running around. That's what we tend to do when there are boxes everywhere. We get overwhelmed. So just stay where you are, stay in the kitchen or the bathroom or whatever room you're unpacking, and just and focus on that space. That'll help to kind of minimize overwhelm.
Well, I know as a professional organizer, you probably have some tools, I don't know, folders, notebooks, something. And when we come back, we're going to take a quick break, but I want to find out what tools you use to kind of help project manage this, because I bet that's something that really makes it a lot easier. So we are talking about the unpacking part of moving and getting organized for a move with Veronica Bishop, and we'll be right back. Now there's a place just for you. Life can be busy, and you still have to keep it all together. That's why you like to be organized and in control. Introducing MyOrganized.life. A special place where you can get ideas and solutions to organize what's important to you, your important papers, your important decisions, your important life events. We show you the ideas and products to stay organized in your life. See what's new. Stop by and say hello. Visit us at any time at www.myorganized.life. It's just for you. MyOrganized.life by Smead. Find us at www.myorganized.life. MyOrganized.life. We're back now on Keeping You Organized, talking about getting organized for a move, and now we're in that unpack with ease. We've gotten through the packing, we've got the boxes in, we're kind of going room by room now. And Veronica, you're a professional organizer. You help clients do this. Do you have any tools you use, like folders or organizing checklists, notebooks? I mean, what do you use to kind of manage the process?
Yeah, well, moving there's so many working parts to it. So we recommend having a binder, or we call it a household hub. But in this case, it would be a moving hub where you can keep all of the documents related to the move in one place and just have them really handy and at ease of access. So this is actually my binder that I use for my move. We had a new construction. So that was a picture of the house
fun.
before it was built. So I have different categories in here. I like the slash cut files so that you can just throw things in there, and because you probably won't have to look at it again, but you'd like to be able to if you need that. So mine has contacts, which are the people that I was in touch with, the contractor in our case, since it was a new home, the realtor, and all the different people who were doing fixtures within the house, paint and etc. I have receipts, business cards. I have my wish list, which has my little paint samples of things that I wanted. So this was kind of started really early on while the house was still being built. But then I continued to use it through the move. I've got a calendar page that has, the timeline of every aspect of the move, from the purchase of the house through the actual move. I've got brochures, specs for the house, loan documents, and the inspection documents. So it's all together in one place. And I just carried this around with me everywhere I went for a year.
Yeah.
Because, we were picking out, in our case, all of the paint and the type of flooring we wanted in hardwood. And there were a lot of details involved in that. And that's typically the case for everyone, whatever the situation. There's a lot of working parts. And, David Allen, he says, your brain is for having ideas, not for holding them. Right. So, getting that stuff out, writing down the phone number, and then, knowing exactly where it is really critical. So when you are unpacking, you have this with you. If something goes wrong, or you're looking for a phone number, or you need a reference, it's right there and easy to access.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about, the unpacking. We've kind of gotten through the boxes and stuff. What else is really part of the unpacking process, or what else do we need to talk about as it relates to organizing for that, getting settled?
Well, I think, like I said, starting with the areas that you really need right away, and then, letting yourself kind of take your own time with it and have fun with it, because at the end of the day, this is, your new house. And I think a lot of people, they get so overwhelmed that they're not able to really focus on that. One other good packing tip, I think, is to have all of your decorative items packed together so that those come out last. And then once you've kind of got the staple things like, silverware and plates and clothing put away, you can then pull out the decor items and decide where they're going to go, because they're not going to go in the same place that they were in your old house, most likely. And then you can really have fun with that. But when you're pulling out decor things, and they're next to something else that's more critical, it's sort of hard to figure out where to set them. Maybe they're breakable. So leaving those to unpack until the very last is helpful, and it's fun to get to pull those things out and figure out where they're going to go in your new place.
Right. Yeah, I think it's one of those things, too, where you have to give yourself permission to take more than one day. I mean, how many people do you know have moved in and like 30 or 40 days later, they're saying, I'm still, working on it. And it does take time, right?
Yeah. And a lot of time what people end up doing is they feel overwhelmed, and so they decide to get a storage unit. And we really, really discourage people from doing that unless it's just you have no other option, because then you're literally paying to house your stuff that you don't have room for. And, it's 1 in 10 Americans, I think, have a storage unit, and they don't really know what's in there a lot of the time. So if you absolutely have to have a storage unit, make sure that you write on your calendar when, your goal is to get the stuff out of there. Right. Because it's very easy to forget what's in there, and you are literally paying for stuff that you don't want. It's crazy. So really being thoughtful about that is, I would say, an important aspect of this process too.
Right. Well, I think we've kind of covered all of it here. One thing I want to do before we go is give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about Organizers Northwest, how you work with clients on a move, and how people can get a hold of you.
Yeah, so we help clients on all aspects of the move, whether that's packing. I've done staging for clients and also unpacking. And I've even helped a client take photos of her house for Airbnb. So she was doing that afterwards. So, we help clients with all aspects of the process. And we, develop a strong relationship with them because we see every single item in their home. So it's a lot of fun, and we love doing unpacked jobs and packing jobs. And we'd love to help if you're in the Portland area. Our number is 503-245-3564, and you can find us at organizersnw.com.
I feel really good about being ready for the move. I think we've talked in the last episode about packing, this episode about unpacking. And so I think people have the tips they need to get ready. Don't you believe?
Yeah, I think so. And the main thing is to go easy on yourself. If you feel overwhelmed, stop, breathe, write it down. You know, it's all going to be okay.
Yeah. It always feels great, too, when you're in the new place. So, all right, folks, there you have it. We are moved into our new place. Enjoy it now, and we'll see you next time on Keeping You Organized.